What's up? I'm Mason the Mason. In this video, we're pouring an enormous floor here, if you can see. It's like 12 by 16, probably about 80 yards. So we're gonna have a lot of work cut out for us. We can't get the truck in here. So we got our backhoe over here. Gonna be filling her up from over by the house. Nice full bucket there. Yeah, so right here we're raking her flat pretty good, and then once Dave starts dumping on that side, I'm gonna come through and start pulling my screed back through. So we rake the edges real close and then try to get the middle the best we can, and then we'll go from there. Alrighty, so he's coming from the other side. I put my benches on. You see they're pretty big. I like a derby, so I got 30 inches of bench just to see where we're raking. Looks pretty close. So you pop your screed down, hit both forms, almost both forms. Drag her back. Sometimes you got holes, fill them in quick. Something I like to do just before you bull float to make it easier. Bag behind your screed. So just make sure you're looking at it flat. I came up a little bit. We're gonna pull her back a little bit and cut that down. So there's a couple different techniques with your screed. You can either jiggle it, and then you can also use this as like a giant mag or a float and make that nice and smooth. And then when you get too high or too low, you gotta push it around with your rake. Fix them prints. All right, it's nice and flat, all poured. The next step is we're gonna bull float it. So grab your bull float. I just wetted it down with this stuff called sin film, con film, whatever. It's a concrete retarder, whatever. It just since it's got a little bit of rocks up in there, what it does is wettens it up a little bit, so it's easier to work the cream in there. So also you're gonna want to wet your bull float, so I'm gonna put a little spritz on there. Boom. All right, now what that does is it doesn't rip your finish off. So I screeded it going back this way, right? So you have to bull float opposite in order to make that floor as flat as possible. Sometimes you cannot do that depending on the job site conditions, but rule of thumb is go opposite like you screeded. So my screed ran this way, back. We're gonna run the bull float over it opposite way. Right? I like to stay away from the edges because you can get that with a mag. Tip it up. You don't want to twist it real hard because you'll put a divot in it. You want to keep it flat when you start pulling back and go slow, so less of it. Alright. So again, don't tip it up real hard or you'll create a hole. Nice and flat till the whole surface looks nice and creamy, so it's going to be easier to finish. putting a line in there. It's alright. I usually go over it twice, just because of that. Now, on that second pass, I keep her straight. I don't go on angles. Pick her up. I overlap that line a little bit. Start her smooth again. Trying to keep her as flat as possible without burying the bull float. Overlap, flat as possible. And I can get the rest with my mag when I edge it. Couple lines in there yet, but we're gonna come back and we're gonna bull float it again once it gets a little more stiff, and then those lines will disappear. Next step is we're gonna do the edges. Alrighty, so now we gotta edge it. You can see I cleaned up the edges on 3 sides. This is my last side here, and I'm gonna show you what I did. First thing you're gonna do when you're edging this is to scrape the edge of the form and get all that cream off of there. The reason is because you don't want any boogers on it when you're brushing it. Go through there. The next thing you're gonna want to do is rub out the edges with a mat. Now we're ready to cut in the edge here. So the first thing I do is just cut it in, you know, make sure there's no extra cream there. Cut it down and start sliding it back and forth. You notice I'm picking up the front when I come this way, picking up the back when I come that way. Another thing is, in this corner, it's a little low. So what you can do is go over here, steal some of that cream, put it in the corner. Need a little help from the mag. Get her up on there. Alright. Make a mess. Now I'm good to go all the way down to the other side. Just nice and smooth, like that. Big thing is, you don't want to push too down on this side or push too down on this side. You want it completely level with the concrete, because if you push down too hard this way, it'll cut in, and then it's going to be hard to finish with your mag. And if you cut this way, you're going to roll the edge, which it just does not look good. Okay, so we cut in our edge the whole way down. Now you gotta touch up these lines. So pretty much all you do is take your mag and very lightly erase those lines from your edger. The best thing you can do, if you did it right, is run it right back along with the butt of your mag on the edge of your form, and it should erase just like that. Nice and smooth. And you can go all the way back down along your edge and clean up that mark. So that's what it should look like when you're all done with edging and bull floating, nice and flat. Everything looks really good. Now the only thing we got to do is sit here and wait till it starts to set up, and the way you can do that is you just touch it, and if you can't put your fingers in it too deep, it's good. So once that's ready, come back to you. So I bull floated it again, and I edged and magged again. Sometimes people use a Fresno, which is basically like a thin metal bull float that they go across. I just use a bull float, it's fine. And then mag, you can also use steel trowels. Like I said, I just use the normal same thing. I don't switch it up. It does the same job basically. But anyway, so now I'm gonna brush this with a pool broom. The first thing I did was I wet my brush, and I'm gonna go grab my pole. Got water in here, right? Depending on how hard your pour is, you could push and pull it. We're gonna try to just pull it this time. So we leaned it out over. Works better if you have another guy with you. But we're gonna figure her out. And then you pull it back as straight as you can. I left a lot of boogers on there. So basically what I'm going to do now is wash my brush and come back, and I'm going to go over those boogers one more time. All right, now that she's all brushed, you come through and start highlighting the edges. So all you do is go back over them, and something I do just to make it easier, so I got my sprayer with my sin film here, con film, and I just wet my edger before I start going every couple of feet. And what that does is just make the cream come up nicer, makes it wet. Makes it way smoother than if I was trying to do it without the liquid. The liquid helps keep the stones from kicking up and helps make that cream really smooth. I'll take you over here to what I already did and show you what I mean. So it makes it look way smoother right there. No rocks are kicked up. Everything is just like glass on the edge, and it's turning out really nice. I got a sealer in here. It's called Column 20. And you just spray this all over it. So you cover that whole thing like that. Alrighty, so that's it for this project. We're just gonna let that soak in and cover it with some heating blankets because it's gonna get cold tonight. So if you got any questions about this, just leave them in the comments. I'll answer them for you, and thanks for watching.